I'm not worried about the Kansas City Chiefs whatsoever. And to be quite honest with you guys, I'm feeling better about this team right now than I did at the beginning of this season. Now, I know that may be a crazy remark to make, but I think when I look at the legacy of Patrick Mahomes and when I look at the track record that he's had, he does the best when everyone counts him out. And that's seemingly what's happening right now. The Chiefs are 0-2. We understand that he's having all of these bad firsts in his career now. It's the first 3-game losing streak of his entire NFL career, the first 0-2 start since he was in high school. They're now last place in the AFC West. Only 3 teams in the history of the league have actually started 0-2 and have gone on to win the Super Bowl. The Cowboys did it in 1993, the Patriots did it in 2001, and the Giants did it in 2007. And I came into this season saying that the Chiefs were going to ultimately win the Super Bowl. And if that's still the case, which I believe it to be, they're going to be the 4th on that list. They're 0-2 right now. Things are seeming very, very bleak. Everybody's jumping off the ship. But like I said, when everything's stacked against him, that's when he does the best. And we've seen it throughout the entirety of his career. I remember a few years ago when they lost Tyreek Hill, I was the big dumb idiot that said, hey, they're not going to make the playoffs this year. And you know what? They ended up winning the Super Bowl. And since then, I'm like, okay, I'm never going to bet against Patrick Mahomes. I'm never going to say that this dude can't get it done, because he does. He truly is that good. They didn't have anyone they could throw the ball to. All the narratives, all the storylines were like, who is Mahomes even going to throw the ball to? Sure enough, they get to the Super Bowl, they get in a shootout against the Eagles, and they win it. The year after that, it's like, what is this team going to do? They don't have the receivers again. Realistically, Mahomes has got to go on the road for the first time in the postseason. You've got to buck the trend at some point, and Mahomes is going to lose in the postseason. Josh Allen will finally get there. Lamar Jackson will finally get there. Joe Burrow will finally get there. No, Patrick Mahomes goes on the road. He beats Josh Allen. He beats Lamar Jackson, gets back to the Super Bowl, and wins in a shootout against the 49ers and puts up all these points when everybody said that they can't score the football. So I'm sitting here saying, okay, now we want to overreact after, first of all, they didn't three-peat against the Eagles, who were just this buzzsaw last year. The offensive line didn't look great. Okay, they lose one game there. Then they go into this season in Brazil against a divisional opponent in the Los Angeles Chargers, who are a really good football team and won 11 games last year and now are significantly better. And they lose by only 6 points when Xavier Worthy gets hurt on the third play of the game. You already don't have Rashee Rice. You can't run the football to save your life. You lose by 6 points. Okay, I'm not overreacting, but everybody wants to see the Chiefs lose, so they lose 2 games straight. Now people are like, okay, the downfall has begun. Now they're playing a rematch against the Super Bowl champions, obviously in the Philadelphia Eagles, where the losing streak started. You just have a really bad performance from this team offensively. I thought the defense was so much better, but it was like Patrick Mahomes, the one thing that's been consistent in both of these games, the dude has been Superman. He's been making these ridiculous plays, using his legs, getting out of the pocket, extending the play for touchdowns. They get all the way down to the red zone. They're down 3 points. It's 10-13. They're going to score a touchdown. Mahomes hits Kelsey right in the breadbasket. He juggles it. It gets picked off by Makuba. He nearly scores it. It's a massive transition, going from down only 3 points, 13-10, in a position to go up 17-13, where you turn the football over on the 5-yard line. The Eagles go down and score a touchdown and basically ice it. And not to mention, they false started on 3 different tush pushes. So in my opinion, I'm like, okay, they are this close. They're this close to beating 3 of the best teams in the NFL. The Eagles were the best team in the NFL when they lost in the Super Bowl. I think you can still make the argument that the Eagles are the best team in the NFL right now, and the Chiefs were right there in both of these games so far this season, and things are going to get so much better for them. That's really why I hold so much optimism for the Chiefs right now. Like, I think this team is going to get a million times better. The offense doesn't look good right now, but who are you throwing the ball to? I mean, this receiving core is bad. It is not good. You've got Tyquan Thornton, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Hollywood Brown, and an aging Travis Kelce. And then in the backfield, you've got Kareem Hunt, and you've got Isaiah Pacheco. What do you want Mahomes to do? Like, honestly, what do you want him to do? The fact that he's keeping these games competitive is a major green flag, in my opinion. The defense looked great against the Eagles, in my opinion, a lot better than they did against the Chargers. This defense is going to be tremendous this year. That's been the consistent thing for the Chiefs when they've been winning Super Bowls in the non-Tyreek Hill era. When they won the Super Bowl a few years ago against the Eagles, the defense was great that entire year. And then when they won it against the Niners, that defense was unbelievable, and the defense was even great last year. So the defense is not going to be a problem for the Kansas City Chiefs. It's really going to be the offense. Can they crack the code offensively? And When you've got number 15, I can never count this dude out because of the ways that he can win. He can win in a multitude of ways. Him and Andy Reid are capable of winning if they have to run the ball 25 times a game. They can win the game if they've got to just dink and dunk down the field. They can win if they're going to go to deep shots. And I still think this offense is going to open things up. But right now, how dangerous and how much can you stretch the field when you've got 3 wide receiver number 3s on the field? You don't even got a wide receiver number 2. You don't even got a wide receiver number 1. You've got an aging tight end who, he's been playing decent, but that one drop on the goal line is going to cost them ultimately. I still have so much confidence in this team. Rashee Rice is a really, really good football player, and he'll be back. He's got that 6-game suspension. He'll be back, and I think he's a guy that can still hit 1,000 yards even after the suspension. Xavier Worthy had his best game in the Super Bowl last year. He was going to have a big season this year, especially with Rashee Rice being suspended for the first few games. I thought he was just going to come out and have a monster year. Obviously, him and Kelsey run into each other in Brazil. He dislocates his shoulder. He's week to week. Maybe they get him back against the Giants. But in my opinion, there's no reason to panic if you're the Chiefs. Should be a spot where you get a big smile on your face because you're like, here we go again. Everyone's counting us out. Same thing happened in the Brady dynasty. Everybody nitpicked every little thing. Oh, this team's going to lose because of this. This team's going to lose because of that. And sure enough, they just rattled off Super Bowls year after year after year. And in the AFC, like right now, Joe Burrow's going to be down for 3 months. The Bengals probably aren't going to be there. The Ravens, they're beatable. Like they're a great football team, but they're beatable. The Bills, you've owned the Bills. Why would you fear the Bills? And then for the Chargers, Mahomes is like 8-2 against Herbert in his career. Why would he fear the Chargers? And anybody else, I just don't see anybody else realistically throwing their hat in that conversation. Mahomes is just fine. This division, it could be wide open here in a few weeks. Like I understand you've got the Broncos who are a really good team and they just lost to the Colts this weekend. So that really helps the Chiefs. The Chargers right now 1-0. Raiders right now 1-0. I think the Raiders are probably going to beat the Chargers tonight, but we'll see. I like a little upset here. But I could see this team being in it in a few weeks. Like, I don't think it's going to take them that long. And honestly, it doesn't matter if they don't win the division. If this division is brutal, who cares? Because this team has proven in the past they can go on the road and make it into the playoffs. I love all of these bad firsts for Mahomes. I think it's so great. I think it's so good to keep them hungry. One of the biggest things you see with dynasties and with teams that win championships is the complacency aspect. And we've never seen that with the Chiefs before because of course, they've had Patrick Mahomes and they've had Travis Kelce and Andy Reid, but at the same token, they've always had people counting them out. How lucky are they to have this chip on their shoulder coming into this year? Like, yeah, nobody thinks we can do anything. Everybody thinks we stink because we lost one game and didn't three-peat. Now we're 0-2, backs against the wall. Let's go out there and prove everybody wrong. That's how I view the Kansas City Chiefs right now. They're going to be just fine in my opinion, and it's the same rinse and repeat process. I'll see you in January. I'll see you in February. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs. They're just fine. Mahomes is easily the greatest player on the planet, and I cannot wait to see this team prove everybody wrong. I'm Caden Kubler, and thank you guys for watching.